Well, here's another machine awaiting some attention, and I'm just in the process of checking it over to get ready to go for what I would call a before ride. It's been brought here with clutch issues, slip and drag. What a surprise on a Royal Enfield. Anyway, I'm just checking it over and making sure. I'm going to check the tyre pressures, I've checked the engine oil, there's a decent amount of fuel in it and stuff, and I intend to take it for a short ride and just see how it is now and determine what, if anything, I might be able to do about it to hopefully improve it. Now, when it arrived here last week, it already had its rear light lens detached like that, and this is one of those cheap, nasty modern replicas. Someone had actually super glued this lens back on to try and hold it in place, but these little threaded bushes that the screws screw into are just sort of very poorly attached to the back plate, and they tend to pull out very easily. I've seen this happen quite a lot. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some red insulation tape and wrap it right round the whole lot and just hold it in place so that the brake light will work legally and it's all legally on the road, and we can see how it goes. These bikes, the Royal Enfield 250 Clipper, pre-unit if you like, because they made a unit Clipper which was like a cheap version of the Crusader. These were made, I don't know the exact dates, but from the early to the mid 1950s, and they weren't a particularly popular or lively bike because they're quite a big bike. They're almost 350 size, but they got the power of a basic Triumph Tiger Cub, so you're not going to go anywhere in a hurry on one of these, I wouldn't think, but I'm sure it could be a nice pleasant machine. So anyway, let's find out what it's like in the condition it arrived in, and then I'll have a think and see if I can do much, if anything, to make matters better, hopefully. Well, I was preparing to go for a ride on this 250 Royal Enfield Clipper and see what I thought of it before starting work on it, but I've already had to start work on it because it doesn't want to start. It's fired once or twice in probably perhaps 100 kicks by now, and I've checked over to make sure that I've got a spark. I've tried 2 spark plugs as well. I've verified that the ignition timing appears to be as it should be to work, but I'm getting nothing. I've even had the main jet. I've unscrewed the bottom of the carburettor and had the main jet out in case that was blocked and blown through that. I've tried with choke and without choke. I've tried tickling the carburettor and not tickling it. Another thing that I've found, let's see if I can demonstrate this. That's at or around compression. I took this off just in case a push rod had come dislocated from its lifter, but all that seems to be working alright, although there is rather a lot of play which I'll adjust out of them, but that's not enough to stop it running, but I'll do that anyway. And then I think I'm going to have to scratch my head a bit because let's see, we've got sparks, we've got fuel, it fired once or twice, and now it seems to be dead. I'm even wondering what might be in the fuel tank, but we'll work it out and get it going at some point, no doubt. Well, in spite of there being a newish looking spark plug in there and a good spark, and me trying another admittedly used spark plug that had worked in something else, it just wouldn't go. I put a brand new BP6 HS spark plug in it, which is one of those protruded nose electrode spark plugs, and it started after 4 or 5 kicks, and here it is running. So I may be able to try it out up and down the lane next, but I've checked everything over, and and it's ready to go further afield if it feels up to it, but I need to ride it and get a feel for what I need to do with it really. But it's running now, so that's the first hurdle crossed. Well, I didn't film it because it was only a short run up and down the lane, but I have taken a run up and down the lane now, and I can confirm that the engine's now starting and running nicely enough, but the clutch is absolutely horrible. You can have the clutch pulled back to the handlebars, stick it into first gear, and it's quite easy to stall it. Either that, or you've got to give it enough revs that when you put it into first gear it starts moving forwards even with the clutch pulled back to the handlebars. And well, the gears are working okay and everything, but it's not ideal, especially crossing this railway line we've got here. When you pull the clutch in, they want to come to a stop and it wants to keep going forwards. I could let the engine stop, of course, but you've got to fight the engine with the brake pedal, have the clutch lever pulled right back, and it's still trying to go forwards. So yes, plenty to do on the clutch front, so I think we'll have this one on the bike lift next and open up the clutch and see what's in there.